Question number 64, we have another question related to the calendar of the moon phases from January 2019. In this case, we are asked a question about Neap Tide. So this is a type of tide that's caused that basically has a very small change from high to low tide. And one thing to kind of recall about tides is that they're caused by the gravitational attraction of the moon, but also to a lesser extent by the sun. So this thing called the lunar tide, and then there's this thing called the solar tide. And both of them, when they're combined together, really do a great job of lifting the oceans. And so you have a big, huge tide. It's called a spring tide. That happens during the new and the full moon. A neap tide happens when we have this basically solar tide pulling one way and the lunar tide pulling the other way, and basically they counterbalance each other. So this would be when the moon and the sun are at a right angle to each other. And so essentially what we have to decide on is where on our diagram would that happen. And again, it's when you have a right angle. So the sun's pulling that way, the moon's pulling this way, and so you have this right angle counterbalancing. And so it's going to be right here at the first quarter moon. And it's also going to be right here at the last quarter moon. And because it's the exact same thing, right angle counterbalancing each other. So you have to X out this moon phase and this moon phase. And this is a bit of a memorization question, knowing the tides. You might get asked about spring tides. Spring tides would be at the new moon over here and the full moon over here, where they're both pulling together. And those are greatly exaggerated. So there you go. There's the answer to question number 64.